It is absolutely freaking wild, man, watching all these leftists pretend to care about law and justice and democracy while at the same time supporting what is happening in New York with Donald Trump and the Stormy Daniels hush money misdemeanor, right? Because here's the thing. If you are Trump deranged and if you just hate Donald Trump, I get it. You know, programming is a hell of a thing. Propaganda is a hell of a thing. And this is the kind of stuff that gets you off. I totally get it. But if you actually know what is happening, you see how they're manipulating two unrelated, expired misdemeanors in order to come up with 34 unethically charged felonies. You cannot possibly support that and ever be taken seriously when you talk about democracy or justice or whatever. You just cannot be trusted. And neither can this Trump-hating judge, Juan Maran. This guy has absolutely got to recuse himself.
He basically says none of that will matter in this case, and so it may be necessary. Jail may be a necessary punishment. What did you think of that? Do you think he's trying to make a point so that the former president just stops truth socialing about these people?
Well, when you say truth socialing, let's be clear what we're talking about. We're talking about a defendant in a criminal case who's being attacked politically, who's being attacked by his opponents, who's also being attacked by witnesses. And the witnesses in this case have no gag, have no, their free speech, their First Amendment rights are completely intact. But
that has got to be a major red flag to anyone who still isn't sure exactly what it is they're watching here. The witnesses in the case, before they've even taken the stand, are in the media attacking Donald Trump. And in the case of Michael Cohen, they're commenting on the testimony of other witnesses. I mean, every single thing about that is wrong. I mean, everything about it is wrong. But then to place a gag on a defendant to the point where he isn't even allowed to respond to any of that garbage in any meaningful way. I mean, tell me that passes the liberal smell test. I mean, there is no freaking way. I mean, the way it looks so far, a guilty verdict is not happening, even in New York. But if it does, Cohen's behavior alone would be good enough for an appeal.
You have a judge who we've asked to recuse themselves for reasons that I can't speak to because of the gag order, as we know. And we have this all going on and on and on, and then he turns and makes statements like that. That is the exact reason, Martha, that the defense team has said this judge needs to recuse. There is a clear political bias here. We're seeing it through the comments. We're seeing it from the way that they speak to the attorneys on the defense table. I've been there. I get it. It happens, but there is no place for it. So I think it's completely unconstitutional. I think when you're a defendant, truthfully, these statements are the statements that you're allowed to hear from the defense, innocent until proven guilty, especially when you've done nothing wrong and when these all have been coordinated. This is past the statute of limitations, and I could go on and on and on.
I mean, everything you're laying out is is all of the perfect sort of puzzle pieces that would fit together for an appeal. Right. But this is the first part of the process. Right. So, I mean, it's possible that this jury could convict him. They hear all day long about Stormy Daniels and payments and Karen McDougal and all of these things, which all of the people that we talk to say is not a crime.
It isn't a crime.
But this is what they're getting.
That's right.
You know, they're getting filled with all day long.
That's
so,
right.
I mean, they may be persuaded by it.
That's right. And that's the concern that I raised last week. And we spoke on this issue. The issue I have is not whether Donald Trump and President Trump did anything wrong. He did not. The facts are on our side. The issue we have is when we have politicized judges and blue juries come in and they're supposed to be impartial, but you have a judge tweaking, reprimanding, putting down counsel on the other side, being harder on one side than the other. That affects the jury, and that's not fair. It's not right. Now, if President Trump was given a fair jury, a fair trial, like anybody else in this country would be because his name is Trump, he doesn't. That's where my concern is, not the facts. The facts are on our side.
You know, the facts really are on their side. And really the truth is on their side because there are no facts, at least not yet. Most of the testimony has been about people and facts completely unrelated to the charged crimes. And it's all prejudicial. This another thing that will help on appeal. The jury should have never, ever heard the name Karen McDougal. The jury should not be talking about the Access Hollywood tape. And even if it is somehow relevant, the jury should not know what Rhino Paul Ryan felt about the Access Hollywood tape. What he felt does not matter. In fact, what the jury feels about that tape doesn't even matter. So nothing in the first 8 days of testimony matters at all. And I would guess, unless the defense did a really, really, really terrible job at jury selection, then none of this stuff has mattered to the jury. the jury's probably wondering what the hell they're even doing there in the first place. They really are wasting their time. But that's just my take, man. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you haven't already, be a part of our growth. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.